Hello and welcome to Territory Football, and welcome to a little bit of history. Tonight and today, in fact, the Fremantle Dockers play their first ever game of football. It's also, of course, the first Ntfl rep game under lights. And a special welcome to our audience through Asia, through Australia Television International. You're very welcome. Our commentators today, well, as ever, Kevin Norton. He's on duty down on the ground at the moment. We'll cross to him shortly. Our expert commentators, Ian Smith, of course, a premiership coach with both Darwin and North Darwin, and also a representative coach for 2 games with a 50% record, 1 win, 1 loss. And our very special guest is Phil Gilbert, now of the Fremantle Dockers, but the last time he was here with the Melbourne club. And Phil, you'd have to say that the conditions look very much like that day today, don't they?
Yeah, very similar actually.
And Ian Smith, as someone who's coached one of these sides, what's going through the minds of all the players at the moment down in the Ntfl changing room?
Well, certainly everyone will be really keyed up. The Ntfl, they only get one opportunity to represent their state or their territory once a year, and this is it now. It's about half an hour away, so they'll be really keyed up and raring to go.
And Phil, what's the mood in the Dockers camp?
Yeah, I was down there about 10 minutes ago, and the boys seem very switched on. It's quite exciting down there. I mean, they're really looking forward to actually running out the ground together for the first time, I think, yeah.
Okay, well, let's move straight on to the teams, and first to the Northern Territory representative side. This is how we expect it to line up. A little bit of a surprise, Ian Smith, that Daryl Taylor will be in there at full forward given the conditions?
Well, it probably is, because Daryl Taylor's a marking player, and dry conditions will certainly suit him. But also Daryl Taylor's proven, even under wet conditions, he's a pretty hard ball getter, and he'll certainly be making a lot of room for the smaller players on the ground.
Well, there you can see the Ntfl room. Stephen Stokes there on the table, getting a rub down in the background. Devon Perry, he'll be getting ready for a very big game. He's got a job to do as the first rover. It looks pretty sedate and pretty intense in there.
Well, it does. They're all, but they don't really look as though they're all that G'd up, but deep down inside themselves, they would have done a fair bit of preparation for this. They would have had a talk earlier today together. They'd know exactly what they've got to do, and they'd be giving it plenty of thought and mentally geeing themselves up inside to go out for this big one.
And just before we leave, Craig Woodison on your screen there, he is of course the ABC weatherman who predicted it would be raining at the moment, and thankfully just for the moment the rain is holding off. Let's now move on to the Dockers and have a look at the team as it will line up for their historic first run out onto the park. It'll be the first time the Dockers jumpers have been seen anywhere. They only got them on Tuesday. And well, Phil, if I can leave it to you to comment on that team as it's going to line up there now.
Yeah, well, that team is the best lineup we could come to grips with at this stage of the year. There's quite a few blokes out with injury, but as you can see there, quite a strong backbone with O'Reilly, Mann, Allen, Groom, and Hutton. Our on-ballers should play very well today, and we're just looking forward to gaining a bit of confidence and a bit of camaraderie together.
Well, there's the rooms. How much would you like to be down there now?
Yeah, as I said, I was down there 10 minutes ago, and I was itching to get the boots on. Of course, no one likes to sit there and watch a game of football, let alone be their first game. And I can tell you they are quite intense down there, and I'd be looking for a good performance from those boys today. Yeah.
A little bit of history there. That's your first ever look at a Dockers team getting ready to go out. And there's coach Jared Neesham, just moving a bit like the NT rooms, just moving quietly amongst the players. I guess no real need to pump them up for this one.
Yeah, he's a motivator in himself. He doesn't have to raise his voice, and he just goes around, talking to the individual there quietly. So that's all they need. Yep.
And with Jared there is Gary Durkay, of course, Territory player from Arnhem Land. He was greeted at the airport yesterday by Gullaroo Unipinga, and we do actually have a message from Sid Sterling and Wes Lanapoy, the 2 members out there, wishing them the best of luck in this game. But now, as you can hear from the applause, we're very close to game time, so let's go down onto the oval, join Kevin Norton for the toss.
Thanks, David. Ben Allen and Russell Jeffrey at the toss of the coin, and there it goes. Who's going to call? Well, Ben is calling. The call is heads, and tails it is. Russell Jeffrey has won the toss and will kick to the airport end. And the action gets underway for the Australia Day contest 1995, the first appearance of the Fremantle Dockers. Jason Jones got the first tap. No one's been able to get it out yet. And in the heavy conditions there, the umpires have picked out a free kick. It will go the way of the Fremantle Dockers. And the recipient of their first kick in history is Captain Ben Allen. There goes his kick. He gets plenty of distance with it with the new ball. Up goes the pack, comes down to ground. No one's able to get it yet. Scotty Waters, tackle. Northern Territory trying to regain possession. Athanasia can't pick up the ball yet. Players backing into the pack. They're tackling pretty hectic out there, as it often is at the start of these games. And over the boundary line it goes. And, well, Phil Gilbert with me. Fremantle Dockers player, a special moment for the club.
Yeah, it's a great moment for the club and for the players out there on the ground, and I just hope they all put it together today.
Up they go. There goes Waters out the back again with a hand pass. Left foot kick just slews off the side of the boot. First at it for the Territory was Christensen, but he went without it. Players in there throwing everything at it. They can't pick it up yet, and Mark West finally gets a kick away. It goes out wide to the boundary line on the far wing side. Jerry Frank is chasing it and outnumbered 2-1. Thankfully for him, it's over the boundary line. Ian Smith, a pretty balanced looking Territory lineup.
Well, it is, and they'll be relying on numbers today to take it up to the Dockers.
Up they go. Jones got up high again, as he certainly has to do, because he's outdone in height by Matthew Burton, the Dockers ruckman, by a substantial margin, I can tell you. He's a very big fella. Goes the left foot kick. And on his knees, there, can't pick that player up, Phil. Is that Tony Delaney?
Yeah, that'll be Tony Delaney, just back from Essendon, and look forward for a big year for him.
Now a chance to pick it up there. Peter Mann can't get away with the ball. Now he offloads a hand pass to Todd Ridley. Long kick into the full forward region. Up they go. No one can take the mark. Peter Reid went sliding in there. Chance for Fremantle. A soccer off the ground by Scotty Waters. Ben Allen, sorry. And through for a behind, the first score now.
Yeah, and I think actually Travis Burton is the man in charge in the ruck at the moment. I think Burton must be on the bench actually.
Well, good move. That's one that surprised everyone, because Burton was supposed to line up. So Smurden the man. Russell Jeffrey, the captain of the Northern Territory Football League side. Under lights here at Football Park Marara in the wettest January, we think, on record in Darwin. Now a chance for Marty Christensen. He steadies. There was no one there to offload a hand pass to. And as a result, he had to go alone. The hand pass for Stanislaus. He's tackled immediately and got rid of it. Socket off the ground now by Chris Williams. And the ball eventually finds the boundary line, and up by Hayden Kennedy says throw it in. Good crowd here despite the persistent rain right throughout the last few days. Has come across in bands and quite heavy squalls of rain. Christensen, after the hand pass from Mark West, the tackle was too high, and the umpire says free kick for the Northern Territory, and Marty Christensen will take the kick.
Should be a good battle that between Allen and Christensen, I think.
It's the pass, and that's picked up a chance for the Northern Territory. Oh, one-handed attempt after Stephen Stokes let that kick go. The umpires see the free kick. It will go to the Fremantle Dockers, and ball comes back already. That player's number is muddied up.
Yeah, Travis Evans, ruckman.
Ball comes out. Oh, gee whiz, misunderstanding there between Scott Edwards and Scott Waters. Tackle's applied. The kick doesn't go too far. The thump, now the hand pass, it doesn't come off. Right, good throw out there, not picked up. Scott Waters, the recipient. The umpire's given another free kick to the Fremantle Dockers, and the crowd don't like it, but I think it was a bit high, Ian Smith.
Yeah, it may have been, Kevin.
Long kick from Scotty Waters. He gets plenty of distance. James underneath it, the thump from behind, and the ball eventually finds the boundary line. Up they go, and chance for Waters again. He's in everything so far. So is Edwards. He can't get rid of it yet. Mark West's kick again on the ground. The Dockers seem to have the numbers. Good style of football. If the umpire lets it go, Christensen picks it up. Hand passes to West. West looks up, decides to go in long as he can. Underneath it is Collard. Can he mark it? No, he can't. And the umpire has seen a free kick, and Adrian Collard will get it. And the crowd love it.
Well, pretty cagey there by Adrian Collard. He actually missed the mark. He was set for it. Probably should have taken it. Ball came free, but he was able to I guess, sucked the Dockers player into grabbing hold of him while he didn't have the ball and was awarded a free kick anyway.
Well, Collard's had real problems with accuracy so far this season. He needs a confidence boost. This is hard with a heavy ball. He lets it go. It's a bit marginal. A goal umpire says that it is offline. 3 for a behind. Scores a level. The crowd, I think, we're trying to will that in, Phil Gilbert.
Yeah, I was right behind the post and it looked pretty good to me.
So the Dockers now just recollect themselves. They go West from behind the punch. Christensen waited for the sliding ball. Then he applies to Shepherd. Then he goes in and gets the ball, sticks his head underneath. The umpire says holding the ball. And that's the way they're going to call it in these conditions. That's an AFL style call, that one. And the locals not used to that one, I don't think. Stokes, good tackle by him. Devon Perry's in there. So's Mark West. West picks it up, has a look. And the umpire said play on. No one's seen it. No, he's brought it back when he saw that there was no advantage. I think he thought one of those players down there was a territory player.
Yeah, I think he paid the advantage and then he's actually pulled it back up now, and I think it's probably the right decision, yeah.
So Mark West has the ball, already collected a few possessions for the Northern Territory, put in a near best on ground performance in the last representative match against the VFA. The ball has been marked by Dale Pickett. He'd be happy to be back in big time football. The umpire just told him just to be a little bit cool. Short pass goes, it will be brought back. The umpire said you've got to kick across your mark. And the crowd really getting into the umpires today. They're in the mood for it, I think. It's a kick from Dale Kickett. Will it be marked? Yeah, it is. That's good football in these conditions. Travis Edmonds?
Yeah, that's right, yep. Yeah, Travis recruited from Swan Districts, and, you know, we're looking for some good things from Travis.
Looks a pretty good player from what he's shown just so far. Down goes his teammate in Stephen O'Reilly, looking for something. In went Perry, couldn't come out with the ball. Athanasia, he had to apply a tackle after the ball was taken off him. In goes McLeod, out comes Stokes. West is once again on the fringes of the pack, and good pick-up in the conditions. And if that was out of bounds on the full, well, there's 4,000 people in the grandstand at least who reckon no way. Ian, did you see that? It was right in front of you as it went over the line, was it out?
I thought it was over the line, actually. I thought it was a fair decision.
Well, you'd know. We'll take that. That's one for the umpire. And the ball is now socketed along. Danger here for the Territory as the soccer comes from Ben Allen into the forward line. The umpire's seen the free kick. It will go to the Northern Territory. And the umpire says you've got to bring it back just as well, because it landed straight in the hands of Tony Delaney.
That's right. I think the umpire's just, you know, just pulling play up, trying to get on top of it. Both teams seem to be a little bit on edge.
He's brought it back again. Now it goes to West once again. Looks up, sees what he can do. He's got a couple of leads out there on the wing. Territory player in Stokes, I think it was just dumped as he ran at the ball. Christensen applies the big tackle. Crumbs picked up by Scott Waters. A hand pass goes out to his teammate, I think in Peter Bell. Players fall over, picked up by McLeod, and he just streaks away, Andrew McLeod. Drafted to the Adelaide Crows in the last couple of months in the November draft. Hand pass over the top, comes towards Christensen. He gives it back to his teammate there in Chris Williams. Away he goes, the hand pass, the tackle, it's all there. No one's got anything yet. And it's all Dockers down there. Can't pick the player up. His number is his money.
Travis Edmonds again, he's playing very well at the moment.
Travis Edmonds, he offloads to Peter Mann. Mann's kick comes out wide as they switch the play and lands in the hands of Scott Edwards. Edwards runs around as Kerr came in to apply the tackle as he played on. Up goes Devon Perry, nearly took the mark. It slipped out of his hands. A hand pass by Tony Delaney. Free kick to the Dockers.
Must be play on.
Well, I thought they had the advantage at the time. Delaney. Up goes Christensen, one hand, he couldn't pull that off, and down is Stephen O'Reilly, the big fella, gets the left foot kick on it, puts it up in a really good direction. I thought he held it long enough, you're right. And that was bad luck for Jason Norris, is it?
Young Chris Groom, I think it was.
Well, I agree, Kevin. I thought it was a great effort, and I thought he certainly held the ball long enough.
Yeah, Chris Groom recruited from Adelaide.
Oh, yes. That's not a bad call by the umpire.
He still held the ball. He's even got it until now. It really hasn't touched the ground until that moment there.
Difficult in these conditions. The umpires are going to have to be a little bit subjective in their judgment. Soccer off the ground there by Ben Allen. In goes Russell Jeffrey, puts it 100% as he always does, and the ball will be thrown in. 10 minutes into the first quarter, 1 point apiece. Up they go. The thump from behind by the Territory Stephen Carey. Chance for the Dockers here if they let go. The big kick there. And Todd Menegol, is it?
Yeah, Todd Menegol actually played a couple of years with Richmond and just seemed to be a little bit nervy then. Just threw it straight on the boot. Had time. But take a little while for these blokes to settle down.
Yeah, it's not easy when you've not played with any of these people before. I mean, this is really an historic occasion. Peter Reid has the ball in his hands. The Darwin Buffaloes backman. Up goes Jones, then applies the tackle. The umpire says, "I'll bounce." Ball handed back there by Peter Bell. And they come. So again, it's Jones and Edmonds. Edmonds got the tap, went straight down to his teammate in Bell. Ball's in front of players on the ground. No one's able to get it. West is in there applying tackles. Then he was tackled after he got his hands on it. The umpire says throw it in once again.
Some good checking work there by Russell Jeffrey, I thought, too, to really harass the Dockers forward.
The throw in. They go, thumped from behind. Now a chance for Andrew Wills. He gets a kick on it. How far does it go? It'll slide across the ground. And, well, Phil Gilbert, goals are going to be like gold here, aren't they, tonight?
Yeah, they are. And I can just recall back a couple of years ago in the same conditions. It was very tight all day, not many goals kicked. And, as you see, a lot of boundary throw-ins.
And that day, of course, she played for the winning side, Melbourne Football Club. And, well, now you're over in the Fremantle Dockers and yet to play a game for them. In fact, on their first appearance, you're the expert comments man for the ABC. It's not a bad way to start a career with a footy club.
It's great to be up here, actually.
Throw in, tap comes down, no one's got it yet. In sliding there was Wheatra. Devon Perry lets go with the kick, comes to Athanasia. His kick doesn't go too far and finds the boundary line. Travis Edmonds just watching it go over. He'll stay there for the throw in. Ball's thrown in now. Up they go. Tap from behind. Jones and soccer from Wheatra. Jerry Frank's in there, nearly picked it up, couldn't complete it. Good tackling and spoiling in there. Kerr taps it through. Stokes, he picks it up, gets a one-handed hand pass away. The umpire lets it go, comes back. Stokes gets a boot on it, kicks it out towards the wing. And a race in two there between Adrian Collard and his opponent. Is it Dale kicking it? No.
Darren Capewell.
Darren Capewell.
Yep. From East Fremantle. And a likely tie-up in the back pocket. Very strong, quick.
The throw in, just waiting behind the pack there is Ben Allen, and nearly came off. Territory players starting to throw themselves in a little bit harder now. West, again he gets a possession, and a great mark.
Quick reach. Quinton actually ran up and Sandover medal this year for Claremont, so he's a very, very good player.
Scott Waters gets that pass away, lands on the chest of teammate Stephen O'Reilly. He's tackled by Wheatra and dispossessed, and he's nearly dispossessed again by Athanasia, who goes in and brings him down. Ball is still in play. Chance for Waters. Now they can get it away perhaps, and they do. They kick it well into the forward region, and nearly a very good mark there by Russell Jeffrey under pressure.
Brilliant football.
Great tackle.
Brilliant effort by the captain.
A double dose there, Russell Jeffrey's a great effort for the mark, and when he couldn't mark the ball, a dive full length at the player that was crumbing for the Dockers and actually held him as well. And a
50-metre penalty on top of it. And 50 metres, I tell you what, in these conditions, it's got to be worth 100.
Yeah. Russell Jeffrey's he's been a great stalwart for Northern Territory football for over, what, a decade, I suppose, now.
Well, his football this season, club football, probably hasn't been as good as it's been in the past, but Russell's the sort of guy that in games like this will always come to his best.
Great mark by Stanislaus, tripped over, everything went against him there. So all of a sudden the Territory finds themselves in attack. Out they go, up went Daryl Taylor, but he couldn't bring in the mark. He's on the ground now, Taylor. The Territory making that interchange, and the ball will be thrown in. Special comments this afternoon, or this evening I should say, by Phil Gilbert from the Fremantle Dockers, formerly of Melbourne Football Club. In fact, he's played up here in a representative game. And of course, as usual, Ian Smith, former Ntfl coach. He knows what this business is all about. Taylor gets under the ball, and it's just thumped over the boundary line. And back into business again. Wonder who's got the contract for washing football jumpers today. They'd be been pretty busy, I can tell you. There goes the throw in. Big thump from behind by Peter Mann. Didn't go too far for him, unfortunately. Soccer off the ground by Ben Allen. Territory players in there. They just can't quite pick it up yet. Gilbert McAdam, now he comes out, is Stephen Stakes. Turns around, steadied and looked, then let it go. Anyone home. Collard's behind. He rushes at the ball. He'll start looking for the free kick. He was dragged off it. The umpire lets it go. Now the ball comes back to Stanislaus. How's the kick? 3 for a behind.
He handled to the wrong player.
Well, the jumper's getting a little bit muddy. He may have mistaken it for a Dockers jumper.
Then,
So
Quinton Leach to kick out.
There he goes. Gets reasonable distance given the weight of the ball. Coming in, Edmonds once again, he's marked it. Coming in too late was Kerr. There's the kick. He goes out wide, and the ball by Gary Durkay, former Darwin base player, played for Wanderers, and he got a really good round of applause there from the crowd, which was terrific. West shoved out in front of him. Durkay picks it up. Went to go one hand. Now he goes two. Just pushes out in front of him. Oh, and he got the free kick, and that was as soft as. So much for the friendly welcome for Gary Durkay. They've changed their mind.
Gary's been training very well this year. Was a very good player in our inter-club scratch match about a week ago.
Oh, the tackle's applied. He's got to be gone. No, not given. Marty Christensen, he leans over the ball. In goes Peter Reid, puts it out in front of him. Now he picks it up, has to handball further. And, well, I thought Christensen might have got the gong there from the umpire. But, well, I guess they're having as much trouble getting used to these conditions as the players. Huge throw in by the umpire. Edmonds behind, got the tap, comes down to Waters. Kick out the side of the pack, comes towards the wing, and players overrun it, and it goes out of bounds. Andrew Wills looks pretty clean for a player that's been on the ground all game so far.
Yeah, he's playing that forward. I think the ball hasn't sort of been up there a great deal.
James and Edmonds. Edmonds gave the shove. James will get the free kick. Good work by James to get in front. It's the only way he's going to be able to get any concession out of Edmonds, who's rucking very well. There goes the kick from James. He's looking for and nearly found Kerr. He burst his way through the pack. Umpire has seen a free kick. Kerr's got it. He was shoved after he got rid of it. And if you're first at the ball and over the ball, you're going to do fairly well today, I think. I don't know what sort of kick that was, but Jerry Frank has called it a blinder.
Didn't even know he had it, did he?
That was a real wet weather conditions mark, Ian Smith. He just put it up just to stop it and then brought it down. We'll see it here.
To be honest, I think the ball came off the side of his boot and caught almost everyone except for Jerry Frank by surprise.
Yeah, as you were saying, Kevin, just get the hands underneath it and give it a bit of a tap in these conditions, and then bring it into the chest.
Well, distance is going to be a bit of a worry, but he's quite a mercurial footballer, this bloke. There goes the kick from Jerry Frank. It's high and it's long, it's fairly straight. It comes down, anyone home. A lot of Dockers players there. Stanislaus is fighting for it. In goes Taylor. And they lock it into the forward zone. And the hand pass eventually comes out, and the boundary umpire said it's gone over and he'll throw it in. Good crowd here tonight. So I said conditions have been wet for most of the day, but they've been pretty lucky in the last couple of hours. Hand pass comes out and is picked up by Darren Capewell. He gets a fair bit of distance with the kick. Chasing it there is Scotty Waters. He gets to the ball. He's pulled off it. Free kick. Experience there showing, I think. Waters goes for the pass, and Mark West had intervened. He read that very well. West puts up the kick looking for a lead. It was almost there. And chance for Chris Williams. But, he can't complete it. Mark West having a big influence for the Territory.
Yeah, and Chris Williams contributing pretty well. Plenty of physical work by Chris.
Up they go, the tap from behind by Kerr. Now the ball tumbles out. Durkay's got it. He's immediately tackled by his opponent in Gilbert McAdam. Oh, heavy work in there, particularly heavy by Ben Allen. He shouldered a couple of players out there. Class football that. They come out towards the boundary line, and the player, Todd Menegold, sees it go over. Not far away from time on here. 3 behinds Oh, they've got the wet weather gear on out there as well. That's good. 3 behinds have been scored. Up goes Jones, gets a big thump on it. Then look for the return hand pass. Just picked it up and let's go anyway. That's brilliant wet weather football. Taylor goes up, and he only had to get a hand to it, and Collard was floating behind.
Free kick.
Well, I wonder what that was for, and it'll be taken by Collard. Something must have happened after Jones got rid of the ball.
Actually, Taylor appealed for the free kick as though he'd been pushed out. And Collard, who really was... well,
Collard was behind the pack.
Behind the pack.
Nettlebeck actually took the mark, yeah.
We might pick up something in replay. Collard, let's go with a kick. It holds up and it's a post. Oh.
Can't buy a goal.
Well, he gave it a ride and he knew which way the breeze would push it, but just not enough.
Geez, some vital opportunities there. I mean, goals today, as you say, going to be worth as much as gold, and 2 misses by Collard now in the first quarter.
Comes the kick out, the break of the huddle, up they go. No one's able to pick it up. Stakes, he does. Gets a hand pass away, didn't go too far. He should tap it out towards Christensen. He gets a hand pass over. There was no one there to accept it except for a pack of Fremantle Dockers. They try and get away, he does.
Delaney,
the red-headed Dockers footballer, and it just skips past Gilbert McAdam and goes out of bounds.
Good hard to pick up Delaney's red hair in these conditions. It looks like it's black to me.
There won't be too much time on here, by the way, either, because no goals have been scored. Once again, James got a tap in the back, but no free kick paid. Gilbert McAdam, he lets go with the kick. Anyone home? The dive there by the Territory player in Taylor. It's bounced off the boot. Chris Williams, I think it is. And that was intelligent football. Short pass, it doesn't go far enough, and, well, not making the best of the opportunities in the forward line.
Peter Mann.
The Northern Territory. West goes up, can't complete the mark. It comes behind Athanasia. He lets go with the left foot. Stanislaus is in front. He tapped it sideways. Christensen on the roll. Oh, Jerry Frank, and he had Taylor with him, but the intercept by Peter Mann was brilliant football. Away they go. Durkay's on the receive for the Dockers. Can't pick it up. Sliding in there for the Territory was Dion Miles. Ball hasn't come out yet. It's like waiting for a rugby union scrum to break out there. And now a chance for Ben Allen. The free kick has been paid, and the umpire brings it back. It will go to, well, no one's quite sure, but it will go to the NT. They come across the centre to Mark West. He's right in the middle. There won't be much time on. He'll need to get on with it. And in fact, there was almost nil time on. So the first quarter of football involving the Fremantle Dockers, and they've been held goalless, but their opponents, the Northern Territory Football League, also goalless. A 2-point lead very quickly, gentlemen. Phil Gilbert, not a bad start, but the Dockers, they look pretty committed.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad start. I mean, obviously, the nerves and in that first game, pressure is going to be a problem. But they seem to combine better as the quarter got underway, and they definitely seem to have a bit of camaraderie out there, and they're protecting their own teammates. But I think it's been a very close first quarter.
And Ian Smith, not a bad start by the Territory.
Well, I think they'd be pretty happy about the way they're going. They're on-board players, particularly Mark West, having a pretty big influence on the game. They've had quite a number of opportunities in the forward line. Unfortunately, the player in Adrian Collard missed a couple of opportunities that could have well been goals. But I think they'd be pretty happy with their efforts. Probably a little bit, a couple of areas I think they could probably look at, and that's across the half-forward line. I feel that Kerr's struggling a little bit in that position, and perhaps looking at perhaps someone else to come into that position.
Yes, I noticed that Kerr wasn't having a real good game out there. I think maybe a change should be made. Well, no goals in the first quarter. What will happen in the second quarter? You're watching football history in the making on ABC Sports Territory Football. And away we go in the second quarter. Matthew Burton is on, the big ruckman for the Fremantle Dockers, and I've got to say it is absolutely huge. The ball comes down towards the Territory's forward line. Devon Perry's in there. He just couldn't quite hang on to the ball, and he gets a free kick for in the back. And he wheels around and he goes out wide as though that was sort of pre-planned as a move. Tommy Wheater decides to sock it in towards the full forward region. Taylor goes up. The thump from behind, and sliding in go the Dockers players. Jerry Frank, big handball to Mark West, great take. The snap out of bounds on the full.
was good football by Jerry Frank then. He grabbed the ball cleanly and under the conditions and whipped the handball out, but Mark West running away from goal. It's very hard to corner that ball around.
Yes, very slippery ball. Down they go again, and a throw kick by Mark West again, and that ball has been marked by Peter Mann.
Peter playing well across that half-back line.
He's stopped a number of their moves, hasn't he? He just seems to be in the right place at the right time. Quarter time, the Dockers coach Gerard Neesham said to play one-on-one football. He thought that perhaps they were a bit unbalanced as a group. There goes Jerry Frank again with the kick. So the Dockers obviously wanted to man up all the way. There goes the kick, and it has been marked by Ben Allen. Just waiting back for the ball is Gilbert McAdam. Gets a kick out wide. He couldn't do much else with it. Any changes up than Matthew Burton?
Yeah, there looks like quite a few. We've got David Newer. Looks like he's come on to a half-forward flank. We've got Winston Abraham over here on the members' wing, and that's about all I can see at the moment.
Gilbert McAdam, he lets fly with the kick. Gets a bit of distance. Up they go, and no one's able to mark it yet. The territory player over the ball was Chris Williams. He's been in everything so far. As rain starts to come onto the oval once again, and a bit of a breeze going right across the ground with it. Weather Bureau promised this. They said there'd be the occasional band of rain. Hopefully this is the last, because the gaps between them have been getting bigger. Very heavy conditions, about as heavy as I've ever seen it in the Northern Territory. Ian Smith.
Oh, it would be, Kevin, the amount of rain we've had up here in the last couple of weeks. You'd expect these sort of conditions, and certainly heavy going.
About 900 millimetres apparently in the last 2.5 weeks. That's 36 inches in the old language. Hand pass was brilliant by West, and picked up by Wheatree. Goes in short, going to be marked. It is, and it's that man Brian Gordy Stanislaus, who is a good kick of the ball.
Well, it's going to have to be from here, Kevin, really. I mean, under the conditions, it's 40 metres out, and the tendency if you kick too hard to lose your footing, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful here.
And he's got the breeze going right across the face of goal too. It's an unusual one for this ground. Let's go with a kick. It wobbles and slides anybody home. It bounces out. Sucker by Jerry Frank, has hit the post. Oh, an inch in it.
Well, a bit of a Pele there, wasn't it?
Oh,
Ball came down to the ground, and Jerry Frank socketed it. Unfortunately, hit the behind post, the goal post.
Thinking.
Yeah, it was a great effort by Frank, and it just moved at the last minute and managed to collect the inside padding of the goal post. There's the kick. Up they go, and the big fella Burton takes the mark. And he shows a bit of pace for a step or two anyway. And the kick from Mann. And they've got a bit of space down there, the Dockers. The territory players charge at the ball. Applying the tackle is Andrew McLeod. Free kicks against him. There's the kick, goes in long, up they go.
Oh, John Hutton's on.
He's the one with no mud on him. Gilbert McAdam took his time, and the umpire said that was holding the ball, and so the free kick will be taken for the Dockers, and quite a good shot or chance at goal.
David Muir.
He's got not a bad haircut either, I can tell you.
Yeah, David's come back to the club via North Melbourne and Claremont before then, and very, very strong lad.
Lines up the kick from 35. It slides a bit. It looks okay. And that is goal number 1 for the Dockers in their club history. And goal number 1 in this game, and they go to a 3-point lead.
Yeah, well, Gilbert McAdam unfortunately paid the penalty of hesitating, standing, waiting to deliver the ball, and an excellent effort by the Dockers player here to actually get hold of him. We'll see Gilbert here takes the ball, steps.
And as you can see, David, a very, very strong lad, sort of not being able to shake the tackle. And,
didn't let go, did he?
Very, very good swimmer, David. in his own out here then.
Got the tap away, and away it goes to Scott Waters underneath the ball. Dockers players, chance for a soccer. It's not a bad one. It hits the post as well. Norwich, great left foot skills.
The NT have to be a little bit careful here to make sure that the Dockers can't get the ball as easily out of the centre as they did that time. They'll start to tighten up a little bit.
There's a kick from Russell Jeffrey. He goes out wide, but underneath it once again is David Muir. He sees a lead inside, but that doesn't come off. James picks it up, let's go with a hand pass. It comes back to Muir. West gets inside him, picks up the ball, gets a hand pass away. No one there except for the boundary line. Adrian Collard there. There's the throw in, up goes James, got high, then he got as high as Burton standing. There's the kick over the side, push and shove. McLeod, good use of the body. A chance here for the Dockers as the ball came down to Waters, but the lovely smother of the hand pass by McLeod sees it go out of bounds.
Not too much handball, I think, today, more so on the boot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a risk, isn't it? Behind the pack there, once again, was Waters. Comes down, the tackle's been applied, and good hand pass underneath by Winston Abraham. Out comes a kick from Ben Allen, up they go, no one's able to mark it. Christensen is in there in the thick of things, and let's go with a kick, and Stanislaus was pushed and shoved and pulled, and the free kick will go to Stanislaus. And you'd want to hurry up, give him the ball. Oh no, it's gone the other way.
Must have paid the mark. But they were adjusting for front position, I think. Don't think there was a lot in it.
Well, the umpire was right in the spot. Scott Waters' kick goes long. No one's able to take the mark. Players slide. And a chance for the Territory. Stakes to Russell Jeffrey, to Andrew McLeod. Took his eyes off the ball, then lost it, then recovered very, very well with great skills. And his kick goes close to the boundary line. It won't go over, though. Chance again for Winston Abraham. He showed great skills. Mark West said, "Thank you very much, I'll have that." And he gets his kick along towards the wing. He was dumped afterwards, and it goes down the ground. A free kick to the Northern Territory.
Well, by Winston, a pair of glasses, I think.
And the player's been brought back again to take the kick. Devon Perry it is. Perry. His kick just tumbles end over end, and underneath it is Dale Kickett. His pass. He finds a teammate in Peter Mann. He's having a great game. Tries to get some distance and does with a torpedo. Gets plenty of it. And in fact, the ball skids along too. And Russell Jeffrey bursts through the pack once again. The handball is intercepted. Underneath it is Athanasia. The Dockers players throw themselves at it. Jason Norris in the outer of the pack. But Athanasia has got the free kick. Goes right across the ground. And he finds his teammate in Jason Jones. He gives it to Gilbert McAdam. Oh, look at this. Christensen has provided great movement there. They're getting some good distance out of this. Once again, it's the one-on-one. Collard, he left the room there, and in coming to pick up the ball was the Fremantle Dockers player. Edmonds once again. And a free kick has been paid, and it will go to the Northern Territory. Once again, it's Stanislaus. Kicking into the teeth of the breeze.
Kicking from a drier part of the ground here, Kevin.
Yeah, it might make a difference. It's been a big lead, though, and that's been marked by Collard, and he copped one afterwards. Now, is the umpire going to make this a 50 or not? I don't think so. Good acting by Collard, though, I thought. We might see whether there's anything in it as Collard takes the short pass. Here it is. Oh, yeah, really hit him hard. So Collard, now he is within distance. This is his third shot for goal. He lets it go. It goes right to the teeth of goal. Everyone goes up. Jerry Frank got a hand on it. Couldn't complete the mark. Jones was in there as well. And the ball eventually, a chance for the Dockers to bring it out. They do now. No, it's gone straight past them. Some good harassing there by Devon Perry. He's locked that in the forward line.
Well, Devon Perry, this style of game and the conditions suit him. He's a hard body player, harassing player, and a couple of good intercepts already, Devon Perry.
Taylor behind, but the big fella Burton in there got the tap again. Devon Perry's over the ball, throwing himself at everything. Great performance by him in this game. Scott Waters, he's been in everything for the Dockers. Hasn't stopped it all day. Taylor got a soccer on it, didn't go anywhere. And the kick comes out of the pack. McAdam has taken the mark. Judged it better.
Looking very fit again, Gilbert.
Yes, I think he might be set for another big season with the Brisbane Bears. No leads coming yet in the forward line. I mean, really, he can only just try and get as much distance as he can and get it within soccering distance. It's a tumble punt. It doesn't go anywhere. Behind the pack is Frank. He can't get it. He wanted to have another Pele attempt, and a free kick has been given. It was for a throw out of the pack, and Jerry Frank will have a shot for goal on the wrong side for him. John Kerr.
Rugged-looking customer.
Yes, he's a good player, Jerry Frank. Hails from Queensland originally. Has a shot for goal. This would be very difficult. He lets it go. He stabs at it. I tell you what, oh, it's offline for a behind. The crowd thought it was through, and that's behind number 5.
The NT's bad goal shooting causing a few problems at the moment. 5 behinds. Admittedly, the condition's bad, but they really need a goal to get themselves back on top.
They had this problem against Melbourne when they played them in similar conditions a couple of years ago. As you'd remember, Phil Gilbert.
Yeah, it was a very tight game, and right up until the last quarter when we sort of got lucky with a couple of goals and kicked away.
Just throw in. No one able to get that. Throwing himself in was Brian Stanislaus. So all over the top of him, the umpire says, "I'll bounce." And the rain has gone. And the crowd, plenty of buzz in the crowd. They are enjoying, I think, the closeness of this match in particular. And some of the great tackling that's going on too. It's pretty good football. Chance for Ben Allen. He just couldn't get a hand on it. Burton, he got a hand pass. Stephen Stakes, he gets his beat to ball. Taylor recovers, shovels it out. And Jerry Frank was held by the jumper there. That went unseen by the umpire. And a chance for the Dockers. They get one hand pass away. Can they get the kick? They do. And it comes out there. Tommy Weeks refers to the ball. Good use of the body. Can he tap it forward for Christensen? He can. Christensen held without it. Free kick. And the umpire doesn't allow play on.
Very smart that by Christensen.
Away he goes, Christensen. Sidesteps one. Difficult in the conditions. Puts it up for Taylor. Can he mark it? He can! Great effort in the wet. And look at the mud he's got to kick in.
Yeah, that is going to be a problem.
Well, Daryl Taylor eyes on the ball all the time.
Seemed to judge it better there.
Top pair of hands, Daryl Taylor, even though second grab there, but judged the ball very well. Fly to the ball and not deterred at all by the player intercepting.
Let's hope he can convert because the territory 5 points.
Tell you what, it's going to be very difficult because when he lets go of the kick, he will be in the muddiest, sloshiest part of the ground. I wonder whether he might even stop a bit short of that and gamble with the extra distance. In fact, it looks as though that's what he's doing. And it just lands a couple of yards short, and the thump from Burton, and it's through for a behind.
Yeah, it's always a goal post.
Players very tentative when they're kicking from there, Kevin. You can notice they're not really following through with their kicks. Obviously trying to maintain their footing. Follow through too much, and they're likely to go behind up.
So 2 points the difference, 6 behinds the territory. The Fremantle Dockers, well, they've got a goal. And a couple of behinds to go with it. And that's been the difference so far. They've converted one of their opportunities. There's a kick out. They break the huddle. No one's able to get onto it yet. A chance for the Northern Territory there through Adam Kiranua, who's now on the ground. There's the left foot kick, and underneath it looks like Dale Kickett.
Also seems to be having a good game across that half-back line.
This bloke's done it right too, David Muir, since he's been on. There's the kick. Finds a bit of distance. Peter Reid's behind it and underneath it. Goes with the pass. Finds Russell Jeffrey, the Northern Territory captain. Former St Kilda player. Finds Christensen. Brilliant football in the wet conditions. 2 players with AFL experience. Thump from behind, and the ball, well, they've paid the mark to the big fella in Burton. There's the kick, intercepted by Kiranua. He's got amazing wet weather skills. There goes a hand pass to James. He has to give the kick back. Kiranua picks it up. He has a shot for goal in front of the pack. Anyone home?
Matthew Burton.
And it's through for a behind.
Actually, I thought his effort there was more a mark then than the one prior to that, to be honest.
I thought I saw the umpire actually pay a mark, but
Well, Kiranua's made a bit of a difference since he's come onto the ground.
As you say, Kevin, great wet weather skills, very quick, and one grab play under these conditions should have an effect. And the sort of player they probably need across that half-forward line.
Yes, he can do some magic things, Adam Kiranua. Ridley waiting for, well, the huddle's already breaking. And now he's not sure. They're drifting all over the place. He's found one player out wide.
Looks like Bell. Peter Bell.
Peter Bell.
Rover.
Yep, his kick nearly found Scott Waters, but he got the hand pass away and they can set things up again. The Dockers, good use of the body. Mark West is behind the pack. He falls over it and then lost the possession. Peter Reid soccers. It goes back into the middle. Oh, it's all up for grabs here. No one wants to pick it up, but it was picked up. The hand pass to Muir, intercepted by Perry. He nearly got away. His hand pass went up towards Wheatra. He got a thump on it. Now another tackle provided. In goes West again. He can't get the ball out. It's volleyball in there almost.
Tell you what, there's some boys going in hard there.
Maybe it's mud wrestling. A couple of times in this quarter, the Territory have looked as though they were going to sort of break away with that loose man. But the Dockers have recovered to stop it very well.
Oh.
And there's a big blue on behind play. Jason Cockatoo's in there. Free kick was paid to the Dockers, Matthew Burton. Good umpiring that was picked up. Russell Jeffrey copped one in the back, and he will get the free kick. Just faked the handoff there and then thought he'd find a bit of distance and put it back under the centre wing so that he can allow his troops to get themselves organised after getting involved in that dust-up. Burton, big fella in the middle of the picture there. He just dominates. Jones from behind. Just not much chance of doing anything from behind there.
Probably needs to come from the side, Kevin. Use his spring the only way he's going to have a chance against him. The other fella far too tall.
There you go. Christensen got in front of Burton there. That worked very, very well. And the tap came from Stephen Carey too. Wheatra, he got a soccer on it. Only went about 1.5 metres and the Dockers returned the favour. Good body work. Free kick will be paid to the Dockers.
It was good body work that time by Jason Norris.
Yeah, he did everything right, you know. He knew what he was doing.
Be a handy recruit for us this year, coming from Melbourne, fellow teammate.
Players went up, players went down, and there was no one there for the crumbs. With a bit of light drizzle on the ground, the umpire will come in and ball up. 17 minutes into the second quarter, the Territory still goalless. Only been one goal for the game, though, and Fremantle have got that one. There's 1 point the difference. Chance there for Peter Bell. It's kicked and out of bounds on the full. The Territory will get the free kick. And in this, with one goal scored, again, there won't be a lot of time on. Big kick, up they go. Oh, the terrific fly there from Kingsley Hunter. Bell's got in the thick of things again. He's got the kick away. But in comes Stanislaus. He slides on it. Got a great hand pass to Christensen, who took it well. Now he puts it up for his teammate in Dion Miles. Away they go, and just caught out of position was Collard as the Dockers player.
Darren Capewell.
Capewell took the mark, was in better position. There goes his kick, and it's well directed too. And the mark taken by Lee Wardell Johnson.
From Claremont.
Hyphenated name in football. You don't see that often. There's the thump from behind.
Funny enough, his nickname is Hyphen.
No, is that right? we might just call him that for the rest of the game. Great diving mark there by John Hutton, I think it is.
The two ex-teammates playing on each other there.
There goes Hutton's kick. Oh, have a look at that. Oh, brilliant kick in the conditions, and that's a great goal to Fremantle.
Well, certainly kicking like that under these conditions makes a lot of difference, and goals are what get sides in front. And the Dockers, the NT having a lot of the play this quarter, but not able to score goals, and the Dockers bringing the ball down. And a beautiful kick under the conditions. A good, 45 metres out when he kicked it?
Yeah, well, John is a very quick runner. He was a state 100-metre champion, and also probably the longest kick of football I've seen for a while.
Soccer off the ground attempt there by the Territory player in Stephen Carey. Hand pass comes out wide. Frank fell over. In goes Devon Perry. Gets a kick in the Taylor and he marks once again in the mire.
Taylor causing a few problems up there forward for the Dockers.
Well, when the NT get the ball out quickly, they look a lot better. They only had two or three players up there. They had Taylor and Stanislaus. And they get the ball out quickly, they've got a lot more opportunity. Move the ball up too slow, it's too crowded, and they can't seem to do much. But
probably one of the most difficult shots at goal he'll ever have. He's in the mud and the mire. He's got the breeze against him. Great goal, Gerald Taylor. The NT on the board. Hear that roar, and that'll be a real booster for them.
Well, the NT made a couple of changes too, I think, Kevin. I see Jason Cockatoo lining up now at centre half forward. A little bit of a problem area for the NT up until now. And a lot of the players playing further down the ground than they were. If you notice when they bounce the ball, now they've only got one player, well, two players in the 50-metre scoring zone. So a lot more open forward line, and they're hoping to get the ball up there quickly.
Up they go. Carey got the tap, but the ball came down in the end to Scott Waters. Racing at the ball is Russell Jeffrey, using his skills. He's got a hand pass over the top of himself to get away from it. Goes back, gets the ball, taps it towards the boundary line and says, that'll do, thanks very much.
True competitor, Russell Jeffries, never gives up.
Yeah, he's one of the most fierce footballers I've ever seen. And, well, amazing that we had 2 goals in 2 minutes, though, when we've had only a total of 3 for the half of football. West to Christensen, a tap down for Athanasia. He bursts through the pack. West is back there again. Got a hand pass away. Waters takes his time and picks out a player. He's immediately tackled, though, by Carey. West is in there again. What a big night he's had. Dion Miles, a hand pass. He got flattened afterwards. Chris Williams, that was, sorry.
Strong body work there by Ben Allen.
And picked up by Gilbert McAdam as though it was a dry day, and he delivers a pass that was meant for Cockatoo, who went up high, and the ball socked further forward.
Yeah, well, Chris Williams in a bit of trouble down there. Hasn't regained his feet yet, and I'd say he's probably seeing double or triple right at this present stage.
In they go. No one's able to get it out. The hand pass came out to Burton. He managed to get the kick away too. Underneath it is Carey. Athanasia, soccer skills. He's got plenty of those too. McAdam, once again, times his run and picks it up beautifully. Then let's go with the kick. Anyone home? Only the Dockers so far. They throw themselves at it. The ball shoveled out, immediately picked up by Jason Norris. His kick is around the corner and has been marked by Andrew Wills. Again, he goes for that torpedo punt. They're looking for distance.
No one.
And West has marked the ball in the centre. Repeating his form of the rep game against the VFA. Wheatra got the mark, steadied, got the kick in, and there goes the siren. And the margin is just 1 point after that, 1.5 minutes of time on. 14 points to 13, just what the crowd wanted. A close game of football. And Ian Smith, to you firstly, the Territory made some changes, as you said, which seemed to give them a lot of extra spark.
Well, I think so. I think they were a little bit worried about the number of opportunities they had missed. And I think they probably put that a fair bit down to the fact that their forward line was very, very crowded. And I noticed that the last 7 or 8 minutes of that quarter, they had very, very open forward line. They had their pocket players playing very wide, 60 or 70 metres out from goals. Their half forward flankers were down near the wings. They were really trying to leave the forward line open, so if they could get the ball in there quickly, players like Taylor, who won out of very good players, would have ample opportunity. And it did actually work for them. They were able to get their first goal on the board. And I think they're a little bit worried about the centre half forward position. They made a change there with Jason Cockatoo. Been on the ground for 5 or 6 minutes. Probably hasn't had an opportunity to do much, but could show a little bit more for the Territory as the game goes on.
And Phil Gilbert, the Dockers' first half of football, the big fella Burton, he I'd say get a real razz as they go off the ground, umpires included, and the big fella Burton looked all right.
Yeah, made a difference, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, Travis Edmonds did quite well in the first quarter, but I mean, just the pure height and daunting figure, I suppose, was just. I know he backed into a couple of packs there and took a mark up in the deep into the Ntfl's forward line, and brought a lot of our midfielders, I thought, into the game. You know, like Jason Norris and And you know, Scotty Waters continues to play well. Scott Edwards, even Andrew Wills picked up then. So you know, I can see obviously with John Hutton now down there as a focal point and leading, which is very important in these sort of conditions, to be out in front and being able to take it on the chest. Our midfield really, you know, if they can get on top and deliver the ball to John, well, that might be our way. But you know, the Ntfl fought back well then late in the quarter, and shaping up as a very good game.
Certainly is. 1 point the difference. Ian Smith, we'll have a look at statistics just to see what that shows, and been pretty hard to work out who's had, in fact, the better number of the possessions, because it's not been easy. There it is, 76 to 52. It's about what I thought. And the Territory, well, the scoreboard says it all. 8 scoring shots to 4. They've had a lot of chances.
Well, they have, and gee, the statistics Percy's job would be pretty hard today, Kevin. Jumper's very muddy, hard to get numbers, hard sometimes to see which ones are the Dockers and which ones are the NT side. But NT having a little bit more possession and probably a little bit concerned at this stage that they haven't done quite enough with it. But a good, I thought a good last 10 minutes of that particular half.
Yeah, I thought that showed a bit. There's the goal scorers. Hutton's got 2 and Taylor has got 1. And I tell you what, one thing I've noticed here in this half of football is that this crowd is as pumped up as I've ever seen a crowd at a representative game of football. They really are here for a win. It's been a long time since they've had a win. They've gone down to Melbourne and to Hawthorn and Geelong and St Kilda. They're looking to do it at the expense of the Dockers. A pretty big crowd in the conditions. There's quite a few over on the mounds as well, and packed into the grandstand and up there in the members bar. And well, the conditions are lovely and cool. It should be a great second half of football, and you'll see all the action here on ABC Territory Football's exclusive coverage of history in the making. Travis Edmonds back in ruck for the Dockers, and doing the work for the NT is Stephen Carey, and he'll have that job for the rest of the game because Jason Jones is off the ground and will take no further part. He has pulled a hamstring, and initial medical advice indicates that he'll be out possibly for 3 weeks. Not good news for Darwin Footy Club. Devon Perry kick slides off the beat and lands straight at the arms of Tony Delaney, and the Dockers go back into attack. Players finding it difficult to pick it up there. Just ducked his head into that particular tackle. The umpire lets it go. Picked up by McAdam. His hand pass is long. Underneath it is Delaney once again. He's got a new jumper on. Players throwing themselves at it. And over the top was West. West has had 17 possessions so far in this game. 13 kicks and 4 hand passes. But that one, he gave away the free kick to Dale Kickett. There goes his kick. Underneath it is Mick Athanasia, and marked it very well. Rain starting to come down once again. Christensen underneath it. Took the mark. Territory coach John Taylor said to his players, take a few more risks in the second half. Up goes Taylor. Ball comes down. Brilliantly picked up by Collard, I think it was. There's a soccer. Jerry Frank, he gets onto it. He wheels around. He looks up to where there might be a player. Was it Taylor? No, he couldn't mark it. The ball is brought to ground. Tackle is applied heavily on Peter Bell, and the umpire says the ball was thrown. It's a free kick. And it will be taken for the Northern Territory, it looks like, by Cockatoo. No, in fact, they gave it to Chris Williams. Well, this will be a great start for the Territory if they can get one this early in the quarter. Williams from about 25 metres lets the kick go. I think it's okay. Goal number 2 to the Territory, and the crowd loves it.
Well, a good bit of work there by Jerry Frank to centre the ball from the boundary. Got to the ball first, centred the ball, and it was Chris Williams who was awarded a free kick in a fairly easy position to score a goal. A lot better than where the ball was out on the boundary.
Nice deliberation there. Not a bad looking kick.
Yes, he did well. He's what now? He's in a pocket, Williams. Jerry Frank looks as though he's at centre half forward. Cockatoo is in another forward pocket. So ringing the changes. Carey and Edmonds. Edmonds got the tap. Chance for the Dockers again. They raced at the ball. He looked up and he didn't see anyone coming. And he's tackled with the ball. The umpire says holding the ball. Devon Perry gets the free kick. And Perry is starting to fire. He'd love to have taken off with the ball. The umpire says come back. He gave it to Mark West, who goes long underneath it, and but not with the same judgment there as the Dockers player.
Darren Capewell.
In Capewell. He goes short. He want to hope this comes off. It does to Scott Edwards. Ball still inside the attacking 50 for the Northern Territory. Nice long kick from Edwards. Underneath it, the punch from behind, but a good mark by Travis Edmonds. This bloke is really impressed so far. Edmonds, left foot kick. He had a lead down there, but Athanasia has chipped in and taken the mark in front of Todd Menagol. And the Territory will pump it back into attack again.
Playing very well, Mike Athanasia. As the game's gone on, he's really got into the play.
Never had a bad representative game, Athanasia, and he's played in almost all of them since 1985. There's the kick. Athanasia's the one at the back of the pack and lets it go over the boundary line. One gets the impression that if the Territory were to get a couple of goals in a row, they would get a lot more confident. Underneath it, Stephen Carey, no, not much luck there, but at least he held the front position and nullified the tap of Edmonds.
I think you're right there, Kevin. You know, a couple of goals and the crowd to back him up, and they could quite easily run on.
Soccer by Stephen Carey as the ball spilled out of West's hands. Kick it, runs onto it. Great pick up in the wet conditions. Anybody home? McLeod spins out of his hands. Tackle was on Athanasia. He suckles the ball instead. It doesn't go too far though. In they go. Players throwing themselves at it. Perry. He's ridden into the ground. No free kick. Throwing himself at the ball was Lidgerwood. There's a left foot kick by Athanasia. Lands in the hands of Cockatoo. Turns around, dodges and weaves, and then decides to set it up. He had the free kick, and the umpire says bring it back. And I tell you what, that
should have definitely played the advantage there without a doubt.
Yeah, so running in waves, they really had it. And so Jerry Frank gets the kick. There it goes. It is marked and marked well once again by Darren Capewell.
Doing quite well down there, Capewell.
Stays with that side of the ground, goes out very, very wide. And his teammate there, and Jason Norris, I think, was it?
Yep.
Over he goes to Tony Delaney. He stops.
Quinton Leach, I think, that one.
Leach's kick lands in the hands of Carey. He looks up over the middle and he sees Russell Jeffrey. Jeffrey, he lets go with a long kick. Up goes Frank, nearly pulls it down from behind. Not a bad effort. Went to shove it out and he saw that he was surrounded by Dockers socks and he wisely kept it in. Now it's still in there. And Delaney with the red hairs at the bottom of the pack.
Well, Russell Jeffrey's taking John Taylor's advice here, taking a few risks, coming down the ground, taking the ball from the half back line and pushing the ball through to the centre.
Edmonds' kick didn't go very far. Kiranua plucker had the front position and nearly pulled in the mark. The soccer off the ground. It comes out towards the boundary. It won't make it. And a free kick to Jerry Frank, who was providing a shepherd. Thought that was probably a bit rough on the Dockers.
Yeah, it had to be within 10 yards, I thought.
Yeah, when he blew the whistle, I thought it might even go the other way. He puts it up for Taylor. He's got the front position. No one's able to pick it up. In there goes Capewell again. That's smothered. In goes West. Left it behind. Muir's in there. Oh, West picks it up, spins out of the pack. Thought he saw a Territory player, but it was a Dockers player. And there goes, away he goes, Winston Abraham. He's got a skill to burn, that lad. There goes the kick. Russell Jeffrey put in the body. Almost pulled in by Stephen O'Reilly, I think it was. And now a chance for Peter Reid. Shoved, and the umpire says throw it in. Big crowd here tonight. The official figure, in fact, is 7,200, and there's a fair slice of them. Up they go, the thump from behind.
Well, the organisers would have to be happy with that crowd under these circumstances.
Well, in fact, the crowd for the Melbourne game, which was the conditions weren't as bad, was only just 4,200.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
So 7,200 is a great result for the Football League, and if anything, it's an indication of the fact that the Dockers, since they've been born, have been a reasonably popular product in football. Who knows, in years to come they might be the premier side in Western Australia. At the moment, it's the Eagles. They are the premiers. And there's the kick, and that's been marked.
Delaney.
Delaney will have a shot for goal, I think.
Usually a very liable kick for goal, but as you say, these conditions.
He's probably going to be fortunate that he's going to kick from a reasonably unmuddy section of the ground.
There goes the kick. He gets plenty of distance. That looks okay. Goal for Delaney. The Dockers are back in front.
Gee, Kevin, this game's certainly turning into a beauty. No side really getting on top. The NT, a valuable goal, and then the Dockers fire back with one. So the game's really fronting up to be a very, very close one.
There's nothing in it, just 1 point at the moment.
Play there. Yeah, very nice kick from Tony Delaney.
But again, an example of the Dockers not wasting their opportunities in front of goal. There they go, Carey and Edmonds. Edmonds hangs onto the ball, gets a tap on it eventually. Ball comes down to McAdam. Just offloaded a very quick hand pass here to a teammate. And a great mark from Devin Perry.
Devin Perry really starting to come into the game. Good possessions earlier on, but he's really starting to dominate right at this very moment.
Russell Jeffrey, he's run down from the full-back position, then puts up a great pass. Has it been paid? It has, to Tommy Wheatra.
Well, again, Russell Jeffrey's coming down right down the ground from full-back, really taking some risks and providing a lot of attack.
That ball just spilled out of the hands there of Darren Capewell, still on the ground. Kiranu has come out with it. How did he do that? He gets the kick away. Taylor's got the front position, the tap over the top, and it's that man Edmonds in there again. Ball comes out towards the boundary line.
Travis Edmonds had a great game today.
Yeah, been a bit of a standout, I think, for the Dockers so far.
He was just up here in the centre, and he's down there helping his defenders out.
Taylor does the ruck work for the Territory, gets the ball, couldn't get a boot to it though. Players in there, it's, oh, this is a bit dangerous, one would think. Well, that's out of bounds on the full. Just slid off the boot. Who will take the kick? I think it might be Taylor.
Well, being so close to the boundary, it's the one who didn't try to take that ball over and nullify the play, but took a bit of a risk there, and it could be costly.
Well, this would be a very... He's going to go for the check side punt. You see the way he's holding the ball. Comes in now, lines it up, lets it go. I tell you what, the crowd behind the goal aren't too sure. And it's 3 for a behind and scores a level.
It must have been pretty close, Kevin.
Just didn't get enough sort of spin on it, I think.
Well, he probably didn't, but the goal umpire was pretty close to standing in the line of the goals.
See Northern Territory playing a bit of a zone there. And kick-outs.
No, nearly marked. 2 good punch. Perry, he's run onto the ball. He runs away from the pack. He has a shot for goal. Let it go. No, Jerry Frank's got it. He'll go. Oh.
Gee, some great work by Devin Perry again. Hard to say from there whether he actually went for the goals himself or not. But we'll see here on the replay. Low, always his body low to the ground, keeping his centre of gravity low. Left foot brings the ball around, and Jerry Frank actually looked like he might have lost it there at one stage.
Probably would have gone through, I'd say, but...
Yeah. And fortunately had enough space to be able to turn and drop the ball onto his boot.
Well, I think this is the quarter the Territory have got to do it, because I think that other end is just so mushy. It's very hard to score from the shots. Stephen Carey got half a tap on it. In goes Perry again. He is throwing everything, and he's attracted a free kick. He'd be starting to mount up the possessions now, Devin Perry.
He's got on top in this third quarter for sure.
And ducked after he kicked the ball. That wasn't paid downfield. Jerry Frank, he ducks and weaves, looks up, and he sees Mark West.
Good vision there by Jerry Frank.
Short pass for Taylor. Can't take the mark. And the Dockers clear. What do they? There's tackles applied on Craig Nettlebeck. Oh, great smother by Lidgerwood. Hand pass now by McAdam. Lidgerwood gets the ball back. Kiranua Sockers. Tackles applied. They're giving everything now. There's another tackle. They've lost that one again. Oh, good high tackle. Not seen by the umpire. Should have been a free kick. He took his head off. Now, a free kick has been paid. Oh, no, hang on. The third umpire is changing zone. Yeah. I'm just saw that in the background. You didn't see it in the picture. Carey got the tap, and the free kick, though, has gone against him. Edmonds. Short pass. Gains about 10 metres, only just. Jason Norris has the ball. 6 points the difference in favour of the Northern Territory. There's the thump on the ground. Anyone got it? In there was Delaney. In goes Perry again. Tries to get the hand pass out. Kiranu is throwing himself and everything. He's on top of the pack there. There's a ball up. Perry got the thump, and once again he's given away the kick for hanging on to the jumper of Edmonds. And
Chris Groom actually taking the knock up there in the forward line.
Groom's kick goes a long distance. There's a chance at the back of the pack. Is there going to be a sucker? There is. Offline. That was that Nettlebeck again, or
Winston Abraham, I think, actually.
Number 15, Winston Abraham. Tell you what, these muddy jumpers are making life difficult. There's the pass. Finds Wheatra. His kick goes long, looking for Adam Kiranua, who takes the mark on the slide. Gives the hand pass. Straight past McLeod, that hand pass from West. Can they recover? McAdam goes in, gets a hand pass out. That was well seen, and particularly well seen by Jason Norris. Once again, Devon Perry's run onto it, but the kick slides off the boot and goes out on the full.
The tackling of the NT side to be given a lot of credit this quarter. They're really going hard with their tackles.
There's the kick. Russell Jeffrey at the back of the pack does some heavy work. Devon Perry once again. He comes out with the ball. Gives it to Russell Jeffrey. He knows there's no one out there, so he gives it a real roost, hoping to find the boundary line, and that was well done.
Just experience showing out there by Jeffrey.
Special comments today by Phil Gilbert from the Fremantle Dockers playing list, currently injured. Played here for the Melbourne Football Club, and of course Ian Smith, former Premiership winning coach and former Ntfl representative coach. The Dockers go onto the ball again. The kick just tumbles off the boot. Hit the player in the head as it bounced up though. Now a chance for Gary Durkee. He's tackled. Soccer. No one's able to get it yet, and it's rushed over for a behind the margin now, 4 points.
Again, some good pressure work there by the NT numbers. Realising that the Dockers are probably a little bit more physically stronger than they are individually, but trying to make that up by outnumbering the Dockers on most occasions.
Russell Jeffrey assesses his options and ends up going short to Mark West. That kick was smothered, and it was always going to happen too. West got a bit lackadaisical there. Goes in to try and do a recovering tackle, and the ball is hand passed out blindly as he was looking for a territory player.
That's close.
Gilbert McAdam, the player there. Carey doing the work against Stephen O'Reilly. Kick lands in the hands of Russell Jeffrey. The last line of defence, and you couldn't have a better line. Up they go. Nearly a good mark taken there by the Northern Territory player in Dion Miles. Across the ground they go. That's a good mark.
To Abraham.
Once again, Abraham. Wouldn't surprise me if he kicked it either.
Yeah, usually a good kick at goal, quite long for a small fella. Recruited from the Perth Football Club.
There goes his kick. It slides off the spine. That's a fortune.
Gee, you know, Kevin, almost every time they've kicked from that position, the ball slid off to the left-hand side. And I think players probably should be waking up to the fact that...
yeah, I think so. I think, you know, the NT fellas, you know, just play it safe and play in front, I'd say.
Peter Bell will have the shot for goal, and he's recovered his sock. Big crowd tonight in attendance at Footy Park, Marara. First representative game under lights as Bell comes in at the shot for goal. He lets it go. It looks okay off the boot. They might be back in front. They are.
Well, neck and neck here again, Kevin, and NT to be complimented, I think, for the ferociousness of their tackles this quarter. They're really going hard. Dockers responding to every situation that the NT are putting in, but gee, no one's really got the ascendancy here. This game is certainly going to go down to the wire, I think.
Just looking at young Peter Bell there, Rover from South Fremantle kicked a lot of goals, I think, in the waffle competition last year, and we're looking for huge things from Peter this year.
Carey and Edmonds go up. Edmonds got the tap once again. Lidgerwood provided a shepherd in there. The ball comes to Kiranua. He got the hand pass away. Carey walked into a wall of Dockers players. Kiranua took it back. Fly on, says the umpire, and it has come back once again to Winston Abraham, having an effect on the game. Soccer off the ground, goes nowhere, nor does the kick. Just wanders out. Russell Jeffrey, left room for his teammate in Gilbert McAdam, who goes back, gets it, hand passes to Russell Jeffrey around the corner to Lidgerwood. Lidgerwood looked up and saw in the middle. Taylor, I think it was. He gives it to Christensen. He puts it out wide for Jerry Frank. Now this is going to be interesting on the ground. He's pretty good in these situations, Jerry Frank. The Dockers look like they're winning that battle. Kick it, the tackle on him. Ball comes back to Perry. He keeps it in play, gives it to Christensen. He ducks around, gives it back to Perry. He goes back out the back of the pack. Now a chance for Wheatra. He pumps it in. Up they go. Taylor was there, couldn't mark it. On the ground, Collard, and was unable to pick it up.
I think the Dockers actually missing Ben Allen and Scott Waters quite a bit. Their midfield drive was a big factor in the first half, and I think Jared Neesham may be resting those two senior players.
Perhaps for the last quarter. Well, the player just fell down there on the edge of the boundary line, but kept it in, Peter Bell. There goes a kick from Edmonds, I think it is. The ball has been marked by Todd Ridley. There goes Ridley's kick. It's short and falls into the hands of John Lidgerwood. He's done it right since coming on. He gives it to Gilbert McAdam. Away goes Gilbert McAdam, who'll be tackled. No, he only got the kick away in time. Cockatoo in front. No one behind. Cockatoo recovered. Got the hand pass away. It was well smothered. Bursting into the pack was Christensen. Eventually got the hand pass out. He took all day, though. That was paid as a free kick before. Tackling continues, and they're letting it all go here. I tell you what, there's about 4 free kicks in there. And still they let it go, and the umpire says
something's going to happen. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Should
have caught a free kick up.
Good bit of pressure there by the NT forwards. I thought Kevin Jason Cockatoo throwing himself in, and not prepared to see the ball taken away from their scoring zone easily, which is a great sign for the NT.
Adam Kiranua just issuing a few stern warnings there to opposing players. He's pulled out a free kick, and then he's going to go to.
He seemed to make that decision very late, though, Kevin, so I don't know what that was for. He didn't appear to be awarding a free kick, and perhaps there was some back chat or something like that, but it was very hard to see what happened there.
Well, he threw the ball to Stokes. There he gave it to Lidgerwood. He gives it back to Stokes. Lidgerwood did the drying job on the ball. There goes a kick from Stokes. It sits up high. There's some shepherding behind. No one's able to mark it. Anyone on the ground? Oh, that's through for a behind. Perry tried to get a boot on it but couldn't. It's it like rugby at stages today.
Kingsley Hunter preparing to come onto the ground.
Kick goes out wide, and the top mark by Stephen O'Reilly, class player. There goes his kick. Kiranua should have gone for that, and the kick was smothered. Socket off the ground by Kiranua. Comes back towards him again. Seems to have it like a magnet at the moment. Getting in the ball there was David Muir. Shoving the back. Russell Jeffrey thumps the ball as he stormed out of full back. Wheatra ran over the top of it. And now the Dockers pump it back into attack. And the mark has been taken there by Chris Groom. Now
he's positioned himself fairly well for that one. Again, he's taking a kick from probably around about 35 to 4, about 40 metres out, and again on one of the less muddy sections of the ground.
Well, it's a very important kick because we're about to enter time on in the third quarter, and a 7-point lead would be a pretty handy one. There goes his kick. It looks as though it's stepped off the side of the boot. It has. The margin is 2 points. And I get the feeling we're in for a blinder of a last quarter.
Well, no side really dominating either end of the ground either, Kevin. The ball's up and down the ground pretty regularly, and it's not really staying in anyone's forward line very long.
Dangerous kick there. Dockers had the numbers. They still do. He runs onto it. Great shot for goal. Russell Jeffrey got back there. And, well, you can't do any better than that. After the terrific kick from Delaney. And, well, he's having a terrific game. Peter Reid. Very well balanced player. Puts it up. Good mark taken there for the Dockers too by Green. They go on with it. It's over Delaney's head. No one's able to take that mark. The Dockers just looking a bit fresher at the end of this third quarter. And the mark has been taken by John Hutton, who's already kicked one goal.
And have no problems, I don't think, with the distance here. As Ian's mentioned it before, in the dry part of the ground.
With the breeze just blowing across the face of goal. Difficult to see what it's like though. Well, there's the siren.
Makes it very important.
And this kick takes on an awesome amount of importance. The crowd giving him a real roost as he goes for the shot for goal. There goes the kick, and it's across the face and through for a behind. And so the margin at three-quarter time is 3 points in favour of Fremantle. They led by 1 point at half-time. The Territory led by 2 at quarter-time. And there's just been nothing in it. Now, you mentioned a while ago, Phil, that Waters and Ben Allen had been rested for that quarter. I presume they'll come back on, unless they've got injuries.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure there. You know, they might just be resting those players. They might only be playing a half of football. Doesn't look like they seem to be walking out there with the fellow players on the bench. So, but you know, I think it's been a ding-dong battle all day, and I mean, no one's really going. They're sending one goal there and then someone back, and you know, I think Norris picked his ratings up greatly in that quarter. It was very good around half forward and the wing. We also had Tony Delaney playing quite well. You know, the half-back line of Kickett and Mann still standing quite firm. But all in all, I mean, the NT have put a lot of pressure on our players, and you know, it all boils down for a great last quarter, and it's going to be whoever can stand up the best, I think, in this last quarter.
Well, Ian Smith, what do you think the Territory needs to do in this quarter?
Well, I think they've basically got to continue the efforts that they put in that quarter. I thought Russell Jeffrey set the example by coming down the ground on a number of occasions. I mean, he followed his coach's instructions. He took a few risks, and that's really what they've got to do. I mean, if they're not prepared to do that, then their chances of winning the game are going to be a lot less. Their tackling, I thought, was great that quarter. If they can continue that gang tackle type attitude, it's certainly going to harass the Dockers. The one point that I was a little bit worried about as the game's gone on is the physical strength of the Dockers could start to show as the game goes on. But up until this stage, it probably hasn't. And it'll be interesting to see how the Territory pulls out in this last quarter, where the physical strength can outweigh, I guess, the numbers that the Territory would want around the ball in this last quarter.
Where's Gerard Neesham, the Dockers coach, issuing his last instructions to the club, desperately looking for a win on their first effort on a football oval in those jumpers, which, well, when they first came out, Phil, there was mixed reaction to them, but they told me they're selling like hotcakes. Yeah,
well, that's right, and I mean, even back home when they released the jumpers on the launch, and it had mixed feelings in our state, and I don't think you get the true indication until you actually see them all together and run out in the ground. And you know, I think they look quite smart. The design of it is quite unique, you know, with the anchor in the front of the Guernsey there, but. You know, I mean, it's a bit of a new jump in the AFL, and I mean that's the way I think you've got to go now with the you know, the marketable Guernsey and all of our merchandise, our gear is selling like as you said, like hotcakes back home. So it all goes well.
Well, good to see. Good start for Fremantle. 3 points, the difference in the football. The crowd is really starting to pump up. They'll give it a big roar for the start of this last quarter. Can the Northern Territory end its home ground losing streak? We'll see in the last quarter of ABC Sports Territory football. Well, no one's kicked 2 goals yet, so 2 goals have been the goal kick. And we're back in for the action for the last quarter. Burton's in there doing the ruck work, and so's Carey. It's all or nothing in this quarter for both sides. Oh, there's one of the first of many smothers, I'm sure, this quarter. The Dockers get the first kick away. The mark was dropped there by McAdam. Now a tackle's applied by Wheatra. McAdam nearly applied a tackle. The Dockers have picked it up. They're away. And underneath it was Russell Jeffrey. Couldn't complete the mark, though. Sock it out. Ooh. And very close Well, to the 50-metre line, in fact, it was. Delaney gets the kick away. No one home, though. Lidgerwood, a hand pass. That was Athanasius, sorry. And Russell Jeffrey, Perry seemed to cop one high there. Lost the possession of the ball, and the Dockers go back in with it. Unable to take the mark. Athanasius fell over as he ran at the ball. Now they're a chance. The shot for goal just tumbles along. Delaney is there. It goes about 2 metres, and Russell Jeffrey hangs on to it, which might be dangerous. Delaney's got it again. Muir turns around, puts the kick up to that 15-metre zone in front. That man, Russell Jeffrey, goes at it and throws himself, and it's through for a behind. Well done, Russell Jeffrey.
Well, I suppose a bit of fortune there for the NT. The Dockers play really an open goal, but the conditions again, I probably played a big part in that ball not going through.
I think he just lost his feet there as he as a foot hit the ball.
But 120% there by Russell Jeffries again.
Oh, luck's of fortune as Andrew Wills fell over. Could have taken the mark. There's a hand pass comes out from Chris Green. He's not able to get it away yet. Now there's a kick coming in. Russell Jeffries underneath it again. Gets a fist on it. Muir's there, and it's tapped through. Oh, well, I tell you what, it's all desperate defence down there. They want to get it out of there as quick as they can, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're peppering away at goals, and they'd want to get at least one out of their effort.
Russell Jeffrey, back for more. Goes for distance with the kick and gets plenty of it too. Up they go. Anyone down on the ground for the Northern Territory? No. Ball is thumped out of the pack. West has got it. Goes away with the kick. Gets a bit of distance with that too. It lands in the middle of the ground. Can they nullify things here? They can't. Lidgerwood puts a socker on it. It comes out wide for Jerry Franklin. It lands in a bog, unfortunately for him. Edwards is over the top of it. In there is Williams. Kicker comes out with the ball. Left foot kick away.
Played very well this afternoon, Dale Kickett, and tonight.
Certainly has. Ball comes out towards David Muir. He gets a left foot on it. Goes straight past. Now it's picked up by Todd Ridley. The kick goes high, wide and handsome. On the ground. First at the ball is Peter Reid. Picks it up like it was a dry day. Let's go with a left foot kick. Mark West is running after. He's a pretty tired boy, I can tell you. Picked it up with one hand. Then let go with a tackle, got the hand pass away. Cockatoo runs onto the ball. He picks it up with one hand, gets flattened and gets the free kick. What a dive.
Well, he probably deserved the free kick, but he certainly made it obvious by throwing himself forward. It's some good effort there by Jason Cockatoo.
Up they go. No one's able to mark that. The ball comes to ground and suckered out of the pack. Burton, he gets a left foot on it. Comes over to West. He lost it and he's thrown across the boundary line by David Muir.
One of David's very, very strong points is his tackling.
And he's laid a few on tonight, I can tell you. Carey from behind Burton. That's a mismatch of height. Christensen comes out with the ball and gives it to West. West lets go with a kick, putting it up for Taylor. McLeod's there. Will he soccer it? He does. Stanislaus runs at the ball. He makes room for McLeod. He soccered one in similar style in the SANFL Grand Final of Port Adelaide.
Some desperation there.
But he just couldn't finish it off. But the ball is still in the attacking zone. 5 points the margin in favour of the Dockers. The crowd is just abuzz, waiting for something big to happen, and they'd love that to be a territory goal. Darren Capewell carried over the line in the end by Stanislaus. It's right on the 50-metre mark for the Northern Territory. Once again, Big Burton comes in to do the ruck work. Taller than some of the trees in the kauri forests of Western Australia, I think.
I think that's where we drafted him from, actually.
What, you picked the third tree on the left at Lake, is it Lake Grace or something there? Anyway, the ball comes back for a bounce, or probably a throw up, in fact. Cockatoo nearly got onto it. Williams is in there burrowing. Christensen comes out with a hand pass. It goes to Kickett. His hand pass is over towards Edwards. He uses the inside check kick, and it's landed in the hands of Stephen Stokes, captain of the Darwin Fleer Club in the local competition. He goes with a kick, looking for the leader. Taylor intervening in front. In fact, though, was Peter Mann, as he's done so often today.
Well, he has a little bit slow moving the ball on, and he's intercepted again.
There's the kick. No one's able to get it. Free kick has been paid to the Northern Territory. That was handy because The Dockers had something going with handball there. Stephen Stakes once again. Jerry Frank punched away from him. Bounces off the hands of the Dockers player. There's a hand pass that comes from Ridley over to Edmonds. That's a throw. Umpire's seen it. Just over 5 minutes in. He gives it to West, who's having another good quarter. Cockatoo went up and gave away the free kick.
Very strong, Peter.
Puts the kick out for Quentin Leach. Goes for a run. There's a high shepherd, I thought, on Cockatoo, went unnoticed. And the mark not taken by Durko.
Actually, Gary Durko's opponent, Peter Reid, having a great quarter so far this quarter, sweeping very well on the back line.
Up goes Carey, got the tap on that over Burton. That was well done. Again, heavy tackling applied by the Northern Territory. In there is West. Also McLeod. His hand pass doesn't go too far. 5 points the difference. 6 minutes in. The crowd really telling the Northern Territory to try and produce something. Burton and Carey. Carey gets in front. Nearly, and he got a tap on it again. It was a good effort. Falling over it was Christensen. The umpire says, "I'll throw the ball." Up they go. Burton got the tap on that. No doubt about that. Then got the sweeping hand pass. No one in particular able to accept it. Everyone ran past the ball. The tackle's applied on Peter Bell.
I think that's going to be the case of this quarter. Just players sort of bottling it up, and we couldn't see quite a few decisions by the umpire.
Carey again gets a tap on it. Christensen. Oh, the hand pass wrong way. Great tackle by West and another tackle by Perry. Litcherwood goes in, gets the ball. They'll give it back to Perry. Perry doesn't know where to go. He'll have to get rid of it. It comes back to Stakes. Stakes' kick. Carey, good mark. That'll impress the man that's here to see him, Ron Barassi from the Sydney Swans. There goes the kick. They go long, looking for Cockatoo. Wasn't in front. He should get in front. He does now. Williams, and the boundary umpire will have to initiate proceedings. Comes the throw. Burton's there on his own. Cockatoo went behind and got a thump on it. There's the hand pass to Burton. He gets the kick. Wheater runs at it. So does Gilbert McAdam. He was immediately tackled. Wheater went in. Out it comes to Reid, I think it is. Over towards West. He's shoved off the ball. Eyes for the ball, the Dockers players, but the boundary line was too close for them. It's the throw in. Again, Burton gets the tap. Bump by West was effective. Tackle by 3 Territory players. The crowd yells holding the ball. Similar to what you'd hear 40,000 Collingwood supporters do in the Great Southern Grandstand, regardless of what happens. That's their favourite cry. The free kick has gone to the Northern Territory's Mark West. Now, he really should aim for Jerry Frank. He's on his own. That's the direction that he goes. It might not make him, though. Comes over the back of the pack. The hand pass is there. The kick goes wide. Delaney's underneath it. He loses the ball. It goes out of bounds.
As we see Matthew Burton coming off and Edmonds on.
Well, Edmonds, very, very good player. Up he goes. Ball comes down the back of the pack. Stanislaus trying to intervene. Perry picks it up. He gets a kick on it. Does it go too far? No, it doesn't. It lands in the hands of the Dockers player.
Bell.
In Bell. Great tackle by...
Didn't know where to go, did he?
By West again. He looked up and he saw him coming, and that was it. West, the one with the black mess on the back of his jumper, no number anymore. Edmonds tried to get the ball out of the pack. It's come to Devon Perry. He wheels around. He lost the chance for the kick. He's got the free kick. Play on, says the umpire. They give it to Williams. The Shepherd. Oh, it's a goal! Oh, what a goal!
Well, Devon Perry involved in the play again, and a good bit of work here. A little bit of a step and...
Yep, the high tackle.
Through to Williams, and Williams kick over the back. A good bit of Shepard hanging on there.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but
Well, it's a one-point game in favour of the Northern Territory. The crowd, didn't they love that goal? That was extraordinary. There's the hand pass. They're racing at it now. West gets it, kicks towards the boundary line, and that's where it goes. And the Territory would be looking for the next goal, which would, I think, lift the roof off of this stadium. In fact, the goal for either side, I think, would. The crowd have had a ball tonight. Carey and Edmonds. The smother. In there is West and Perry. They're all over him. Bell, the soccer, didn't go anywhere. Perry, he picks it up. He gets a hand pass up for Lidgerwood or for McAdam. And the free kick will go to Lidgerwood. Jerry Frank, hand pass over the top to Williams. And his kick hits the boundary line and is out of bounds on the full.
That umpire's pretty game making that decision over there, I can tell you.
And the crowd chanting NT there for a while. They are really up for this game. There's the kick. Underneath it, Wheater behind. Athanasia put in some heavy work. In goes Muir. His hand pass comes out. And it's picked up by Docker's teammate. And that lands just inside the boundary line in front of Gilbert McKenna.
Well, the Dockers will be looking at getting the ball into their forward line. The ball's been in the NT forward line for probably the last 6 or 7 minutes. And they're now behind down, so they'll really be looking to push it in there quickly.
Crowd chanting again. There's the thump out of the top of the pack. It comes down towards Delaney. He hand passes it towards the boundary line. West shoved it back to Lidgerwood. He copped one high. And the umpire says, oh, bounce, and the crowd gives him the boo. Delaney told to stay back by the umpire. Up goes Carey, he's rucking very well. Christensen got the hand pass away, but Delaney received it. Had to go backwards to kick it. He can't get away from Devon Perry, but he got the kick away in the end. McAdam nearly a brilliant one-hand mark. Durkay, great soccer. Russell Jeffrey charges at the ball. They all go over him. He gets the hand pass away to Athanasia. He gets the kick away and finds Stephen Perry. What great football. And the crowd love it. Short pass, doesn't come off. McAdam, he's got to turn around and use the left foot. Shoving the back cut there by Perry. Edmonds tackled. Comes down to David Muir for the Dockers. They're all in there at it. And the left foot kick, I think, by Peter Reid. Jerry Frank takes a great mark.
Need to move it on quickly.
They are pumped up. Taylor on the lead. Oh, he's marked it. Free kick anyway. What a great lead.
Need to get that ball up there quickly.
Well, the umpire's pulled him back, so no chance of doing that. Must get as much distance as he can. That's about the best you'll be able to do in the conditions. Thump from the back of the pack. Running at it is Jerry Frank. He'll be first there. Can't pick it up yet. Stanislaus goes in. Uses the soccer for the boundary line as we reach the 14-minute mark of this last quarter. The Northern Territory leads by one behind. And one gets the impression that the next goal will be the winning goal for either side. And there's a hand pass, doesn't come out to anybody in particular. Tackle on the Dockers player, and the umpire says, I'll bounce. Jerry Frank was appealing for a free kick. Cockatoo looks as though he's been through a couple of muddy creeks down the track. There's a hand pass, away go the Dockers, but the ball came back to Lidgerwood. Taylor is down there, waiting for it is Wheater. Wheater gets a boot on it. Jerry Frank! Oh, he's missed it! Goes back at it again, and they lock it in. Cockatoo.
I think he...
well, that could have won the game.
Took off before he had the ball, I think.
Well, it was just so well set up and didn't happen. Up they go. There's the thump. Comes to Frank, kicks it around the corner, and it's 3 for a behind. 2 points the difference.
He's probably feeling a bit disappointed in himself right at the moment. A couple of opportunities, and still only one behind on the board. NT doing pretty well, though. They're keeping the ball in their attacking zone and not giving the Dockers much of an opportunity. 2
points of difference. Underneath it was Stokes. And also Marty Christensen, the Dockers get the ball away. The only player there, though, it looks like it's Lidgerwood, it is. Oh, too high, free kick. Undisciplined tackle as the player led over the ball. Not what you need when you've worked the ball out.
He's pretty groggy there, Kevin. I think he fell over when he was running back there, John Lidgerwood. I think he might be seeing a few stars.
No doubt about that. There's the kick aimed at Williams, and the ball ends up over the boundary line.
I can tell you, if you get hit by Johnny Hutton, you stay hit, and that looked to be a little bit high, that tackle.
Push and shove, and the umpire's seen it. It'll go to the Northern Territory. It was on Stephen Carey, who has done very well in the ruck. Oh, he gets plenty of distance with the kick as well. There's a couple of players behind the pack, and the boundary line is there as well. And now a chance again for the Territory to lock it deep into that forward line. Stanislaus is at full forward. Jerry Franks at centre half forward. You can see him just on left of screen. Ball comes to the back of the pack. Tackles are applied. It's thumped out. And now a chance for the Dockers through Peter Bell. The mark has also been taken by the big fella out there,
David Muir.
And Muir kicks into the man on the mark, picks it up, and there's another go. He's tackled and loses the ball. Brilliant football. And the Blues on.
I think it might even be the local boy from up here.
Gary Durko.
I think so.
There's the throw in. Who's there? Carey and Edmonds. Edmonds got it. Couldn't get the kick away. No one's able to get it yet. The ball's just curled up in the air. West nullified that and gave away the free kick in the process. Danger time for the Northern Territory now as the Dockers get set to launch an attack into their forward line. And good mark there by Hutton.
Been a good jostle down there since Hutton coming on the ground.
Brilliantly smothered by Russell Jeffrey, and he goes back to get it. Hutton doesn't go too far. Slipping and sliding players everywhere. No one's able to get it yet. Again, it comes off of hands. Muir's out there. He can't get rid of it. Russell Jeffrey picks it up, uses a hand pass. The free kick has been played. It will go to the Northern Territory. Andrew McLeod. Russell Jeffrey looks dog-tired. That pass was pretty average. Gilbert McAdam takes him on, loses the ball, leaves room for Carey, then takes the ball back from him, unloads a hand pass to Stephen States, who can't get a hand at it. Throws himself out at Gilbert McAdam. Brilliant football. In there is Dion Miles, and well, it's desperate in there.
Well, it's right on, Kevin. The players from both sides really throwing themselves in. Umpire probably letting the game go at this stage. Players realising that. And it's a real battle here.
Carey to West. West's kick out onto the wing. Players rushing at it. Frank is held off the ball. The tackle is applied. In goes Delaney. He picks up the ball. They're throwing themselves in the back of play. No one able to mark that for the Dockers. A chance for a shot for goal. Over the top for Durko.
Oh. Copped a bit of attention too. Well, this could be interesting.
Well, there's almost no doubt about it, Kevin. If they kick this, it's going to be very, very difficult for the NT to come back. There's clock going into time on, and pretty ironical, really, isn't it, that the local boy?
Yeah, I was going to say if he was a decent Territorian, he'd kick this out in the full. He's a deadly accurate kick. I'm sure he won't miss. He's missed it. It's through from the behind, and well.
It's amazing what pressure does.
He might win Citizen of the Year in the Australia Day Awards.
Well, we know he's half and half, Kevin. He didn't kick it out in the full, he kicked the point, so he's half Territorian and half Dockers.
We're only 7 seconds away from time on. In terms of goals kicked this quarter, there's only been one.
Probably only 2 or 3 minutes of time on.
If that. And Russell Jeffrey gets as much distance as he can. He roosts it right out. The ball comes to ground. No one's able to get it. Tommy Weech was chasing, and it's over the boundary line. And the crowd on the edge of their seats. They just don't know what's going to happen here. thumped from behind by Athanasia. No one there to receive. One of those great smothers again. Overran. No one's able to get it. The hand pass comes out. Dockers players are being tackled. Another great tackle. Thumped by Athanasia. They're chasing the Dockers back out of their ground. Peter Reid is first at the ball. Couldn't recover in time. Russell Jeffrey could. The soccer by Reid. McAdam over to a teammate who's flattened, but will be paid downfield. No, it won't. Durkhe's had a great tackle by Cockatoo. And the ball will be thrown in, and that is brilliant football. Particularly back there by Jeffrey and Reid. There's the throw in. Carey comes at it, but too late. Oh, again, hard tackles applied. Lidgerwood shoves it further forward.
Well, as you say, Kevin, some great tackles. I mean, it was the fierceness and the quickness of the tackles, not giving the Dockers a chance to set up any play, just knocking forcing the ball to come loose and then taking possession and forcing the ball into their own forward line. Very difficult for the Dockers to win from here.
Scoreboard shows 2 points of difference. There's the siren anyway, and the Northern Territory has broken their losing streak at home, and they have won against the Fremantle Dockers in their inaugural match, and you saw it all on Territory football.
Bad luck, Mark.
Well, that was something very, very special, and we brought it to you on ABC Sport for just 8 cents a day, remember that. After the game, Kevin Norton spoke to the man who just took out the Australia Day medal over Mark West, but a huge contributor, St Mary's Devon Perry.
Well, Devon Perry, firstly, congratulations on winning the Australia Day medal. You really threw yourself at it 100%.
Well, that's the only way I get a touch on the ball today, so I just had to dive on it, and so no one could get an easy kick today. So
it was such a close match all throughout the day. What did John Taylor say at three-quarter time, because it was such a desperate attempt?
He just said, like, you got nothing to lose, you're making history, like, just give it your all. Keep doing the things we're doing, diving on the ball and just kicking it forward. That's about all.
What did you think of the Fremantle Dockers?
Well, I think like it's their first hit out, so obviously they're going to be a much better side. I reckon they'll be a good side from the AFL.
Now, there seemed to be a fair bit of action off the ball occasionally, a bit of heavy stuff.
That happens, it's football, isn't it? That always happens.
Now, your record's pretty good. You've played in 2 representative games for 2 wins. You're looking forward to a few more?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'm enjoying it up here. I might have to come back next year.
And still to come, of course, Darwin and St Mary's next week, and then, well, the final start, you'll be looking for a premiership.
Yeah, hopefully another one. With Jason Jones out next week, should be a good help for us anyway.
All right, congratulations once again, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, good.
Well, Devon Perry, he worked very, very hard, and I hope we're in a position now to bring you some shots from the Territory changing rooms. The Territory obviously very, very happy, and there they are, Gilbert McAdam sitting next to Chris Williams, next to them Stephen Carey, Dion Miles. Is that
that's Mick Athanasia in the background.
Yeah. What a great game he had, one of the stalwarts. They're just sitting there soaking up the moment and soaking up this great win. And Phil Gilbert, we mustn't be discourteous. We thank you for being our guest today, and although a disappointing result for the Dockers, you must be so proud of the way your team performed for a first up.
Yeah, I was very proud of our team, you know, and from the moment they ran on the ground to the way they contributed today, I thought it was a very, very valiant effort, you know, considering some of the people have only known each other for 2.5 months. So full credit to the NT side. I mean, they played very, very well. They applied an enormous amount of pressure to our players, and that's something that they're going to have to get used to in the AFL, and you know, the way things go, and I congratulate them, and it's great to be up here.
Well, Ian Smith, you're the only person sitting here who knows what this feels like. What must Coach John Taylor be feeling at the moment?
Well, I think he'd be very, very proud, and he'd be very excited after the game. I mean, it was a game that would have got the adrenaline going in everyone, and particularly the coach. And you know, he certainly deserves it, and the players deserve it. I thought it was one of the great rep games that I've seen up here. Probably one of the lowest scoring games, but I thought it was a great, fierce game, and really the result was not known right until the last moment. And yeah, so it was a tremendous game.
And Kevin Norton, I guess we've looked back a little bit to the quote great Territory football sides, the teams that have beaten Essendon and the Sydney Swans, and we look back to the great players of those days, and we think of the Damien Burdos and the Ninny Bristons and the Ted Liddies and the Kadji Dunns and so on. But tonight, this team really came of age, and we saw something in April in Melbourne, but tonight on Football Park Marara, they really showed just another level up from what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 rep games.
Certainly in the last 3 or 4 years on their home ground at Footy Park Marara, there have been occasions where the Territory have just lost it for a quarter or a quarter and a half, a couple of times where they've started slowly. But on this occasion, and that man Russell Jeffrey, we'll talk about his game shortly, but it was brilliant. Mark West, another performance, probably a bit unlucky not to get the best on ground medal. He was a little bit unlucky in Melbourne as well. He's been runner-up twice, and he only lost it on a countback tonight, so a brilliant performance. But what really impressed me about this side was that right from the first bounce to the final siren, they threw themselves at it 100%. Time and time and time again. They gave the ball off to their teammates. The amount of shepherding that was done, the statistics on the shepherds must have been quite extraordinary, and they really gave it their all, and they deserve to have the very happy night that they'll be having after the game, no doubt about that. But it was, as you say, a very special game, made a bit more special, I think, by the Dockers being their first run out, and also I think by their contribution, because they didn't give up for 4 quarters either. In fact, I said to Ian Smith at 3/4 time that I thought maybe the heavy legs from the ground conditions and lack of match fitness that the Dockers might fade away. Well, the reverse was the case. They gave brilliant efforts in the last quarter, and I think from their point of view, they'd be happy with their level of fitness, but also very happy with their desire. Jared Neesham obviously has some special skills as a coach.
Well, exactly. That was going to be my next point about Jared Neesham, Phil. We've seen what he's done with Claremont, where he's had to build the team and again after the AFL draft has robbed it of its better players, and the task he's done with the Dockers. Not so much the physical stuff and the training, but what's the psychological stuff? What are the messages he gives you, and you know, how does he make it known exactly what he expects from you as a player?
Well, I think you know, from a personal point of view, he's actually coached. I've been under him for 5 years, or even more now, and he has the ability to draw the best out of players that he coaches. He gains the respect of his players straight away, and players just warm to his knowledge of football. He's a very, very good communicator, and he has marvellous amounts of knowledge on new tactics, and he trains at those specific tactics, and I look forward to sort of reigniting back with Jared, and I know a lot of players from Melbourne have come home too, and I honestly think that we can only get better, and we really wanted to start off well, and I think we did that tonight. Yeah.
And you also get the impression with Jared that he's a coach that, with great enthusiasm, but he also makes it very clear that it would be a terrible mistake to mistake kindness for weakness. Exactly. I mean, Jared's never shirked an issue in his life, and he was a very, very strong footballer and a very, very, very good footballer for 15, 20 years. And it also reflects on his coaching, and his nickname back home is a little general, and I mean, he lives up to that nickname pretty well. Well, let's go to the stats now, and first up, Ian Smith, if we could just have a look at that, and although not totally accurate, because of course the Dockers put out 24 players and the Territory 22, overall that'll be a fair representation of what happened. What do you read into that?
Well, it's pretty hard to actually.
Well, it kicks 143 to 100 to the Dockers.
Well, obviously, by that the NT has dominated the possessions, the disposals. Certainly in the kicks department, where it was probably most important tonight. The handball's not that important on the conditions there, and I think it certainly earlier in the game it showed out on the scoreboard with the NT scoring 7 behinds, I think, before they scored a goal. So certainly earlier in the game the NT dominated, but I thought as the game went on, the disposal side of things probably evened themselves out a bit, and I'm surprised to see such a large margin in there. But you know, some of the players dominated the game as the game went on. I thought Devon Perry's efforts were great. Mark West, and I mean, just backing up what Kevin said about Russell Jeffries, I mean, if you've ever seen total and unadulterated commitment, the way that Russell Jeffries played tonight and the way that he plays every big game, it just brings a tingle down my spine, and I think it did to a lot of the people here as well. So it's great to see that sort of thing. I thought that as Kevin said, that the 100% efforts by both sides through the game was important, but I just thought that last 10 minutes, the NT had the numbers, and it was the numbers to stop the Dockers from being able to break away, to be able to set anything up, and it was always another NT player that had come from somewhere else to knock the ball on or intercept or push the ball forward, and it was just that little extra, I guess, home ground push that the NT had that would enable them to keep the ball away from the Dockers scoring zone in that last 10 minutes.
Well, it was quite sensational to hear the crowd chanting territory, territory, which I haven't heard for a few years, and you talk about that swarming play, the angry ants is what Coach John Taylor calls them, but there's a man who's got a place in history, of course, that can't be taken away from him. That's David Muir. He can now, no matter what happens in the rest of his life, he can say, well, I kicked the first goal for the Fremantle Dockers, you can't take that away from me. He'll probably tell you about that, Phil.
Yeah, no, David. You know, David's a very quiet fella, but he'll slip it in over the next couple of weeks, I'd say. He's pretty dry sense of humour.
I'll give you odds that it's probably from about 80 metres out by 2 weeks down the track.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
I wonder how they might reflect too on Gary Durkay's last shot for goal when they trailed by 2 points, and he went to go in and kick, and then he hesitated and started again, and I just sort of wonder what was racing through his mind as a territory player, and with the crowd sort of at his back and all that sort of thing.
Well, not the crowd on his back so much, but Russell Jeffrey, of course, has coached him. He's a player he's looked up to over the years, and there's Russell on the mark, explaining his future to him if he kicks his goal. It's got to be a very, very daunting prospect for a young player.
I must ask Russell later on tonight just what it was that he said, but and he only missed by a couple of inches. On the other side of the ledger, of course, the Northern Territory in that first quarter missed 2 or 3 goals by not very much, and they were a bit unlucky there. So, I think on the day that the better side won, but by nowhere near as much as what all the experts thought they would.
Indeed, yes, and 33-1 it was on a draw. Let's now go to the goal kickers, and there was only one multiple goal kicker, and that was Hutton for the Dockers. But
although there's a bit of doubt about that as to whether Hutton kicked 2 goals. According to the scorers and to ourselves, we've got Hutton.
Well, in fact, yes, I've got them as Bell, Delaney, Muir and Hutton.
Yeah, so I think 5 people out of 6.
Well, Muir's got it. He got the first goal for the Dockers.
That's right, yeah.
And the only multiple goal scorer of the game, of course, was Chris Williams, who kicked 2 goals and therefore wins the goal kicking award for a magnificent display in the forward line.
Okay, and one final statistic we must have a look at, and that is the quarter-by-quarter scores, because that really does tell the story of the game, because in that first quarter, the Northern Territory came out and all they could kick was behinds, and they led in the scoring pretty much right the way through, until half-time. It was 4 scoring shots to the Dockers, 8 to the Territory, but then, Phil, in that second half, the Dockers sort of started scoring more often, didn't they?
Yeah, well, they tended to get a bit more out of their midfield, and I also think with John Hutton going to the forward line, created an opportunity there on a lead, and our midfield warmed to that through Jason Norrish and Delaney, probably through the middle. Young Peter Bell in his first game played quite well. There was also, we had great efforts from David Muir. I thought his tackling and his strength was a big plus for us. Then you go through to, back to Darren Capewell in the first half. Was quite solid in defence, and obviously Dale Kickett is great pressure that he applies and never gives up. And Peter Mann, of course, is winning the medal for us. He's so strong and reliable, and having spent now 3 years for North Melbourne over there, and very strong. And we look forward to a great career out of Peter with the Dockers. And Travis Edmonds, I thought, did very, very well too in the ruck when he came on.
Well, we've only got a few moments left, so what we will do is we'll go first to the results of the other games played today. And first up, it was Catherine, who had to come through floods, and in fact, they were in doubt first thing this morning. They finally got here. They had to shorten the game to 15-minute quarters. They played the under-23 rep side. That's what they wanted to do. The under-23 rep side, though, ran out winners 14-11-95 to 6-4-40. And then on came the Tiwi Islanders. They played the under-17s in a game that I know Ron Barassi said, and I quote, "I have seen a few names out there I want to have a look at." The final score there, the Islands 12-10-82 to the youngsters 4-8-32. As we just have a couple of moments left, if I can come to you, Ian and Kevin, very quickly. Next week, a lot of these players who played together this week will have to play against each other when St Mary's play Darwin. St Mary's, of course, missing Dennis Dunn, suspended, same with Shane Ponter. Darwin now without Jason Jones. How do you think it'll shape up?
Well, it'll be an interesting match, and with Jones out, I think, Coach John Taylor will be happy that he won tonight, and also, in fact, he is very happy that he won tonight. It's a nice shirt he's got on too for a change. He must have had that given to him for Christmas. And Jason Jones out, I think, is a bit of bad news for Darwin. But I think if Darwin are going to challenge for the premiership, this is the day that they have to do it. And as Ian Smith has said a couple of times in the last few weeks, they do shape up as though they can play 4 quarters of football. It should be a good game.
Well, we're just about out of time on territory football. Phil Gilbert, thank you very much for doing this today, and I hope the knee's right and you're back into the action fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Mr. Kevin Norton, I understand you'll be missing the cricket and the football next week because your brother's getting married. We'll see you when you get back. Ian Smith, I look forward to your company next week as we call Darwin St Mary's. We're out of time on territory football, brought to you by ABC Sport. I trust you have enjoyed this magnificent game of football. Next week, another big game, Darwin against St Mary's. So until next week, goodbye.